That's amazing. You know, next generation 911 has been said by several witnesses is the next critical step in improving our nation's public safety communication system. It'll allow for more advanced types of communications, as you've mentioned, increase interoperability, like the example you gave, and increase cybersecurity. However, these systems are complex and require careful planning and expertise for implementation. Dr. Fonts, how can Congress be an effective partner in ensuring the successful nationwide deployment of next generation 911 technology?
Thank you. I think first and foremost is to provide the funding necessary to transition to next generation 911. Communities across the country, while maintaining legacy systems at their cost, also are beginning or need to begin making the investment in next generation 911. It's a costly endeavor. And the longer the time frame between the legacy 911 system sunsetting and the deployment of next generation 911, the greater the cost is going to be to the community. So the easiest, the quickest, and I say quickest not to give any false impression that it's going to be an overnight activity, but if the dollars were there, the planning and the completion of those that already began their plans can take place to ensure that our nation has the best available next generation 911 systems.
Thank you for that. Sheriff Dykes, San Bernardino County, as you said, is more than 20,000 square miles and geographically very diverse, including urban density, national forest, Mojave Desert. Does just one communication service or technology reach every part of your jurisdiction? And if not, how does your department handle that and ensure that you've got maximum communication across the county?
Chairman, that's an excellent question. So it's really a combination of multiple systems. So for instance, in our computer, in terms of answering calls for deputy sheriffs, we run two communication cards. One is FirstNet, and the other is a Verizon card. And the reason is coverage for a county that vast. I mean, it takes 4.5 hours to drive across. And then, of course, our legacy 800 megahertz systems, which really is the backbone that we depend on, having the ability for a deputy to either get on the radio or get on a cell phone and accomplish the tasks that they've been asked to do. Appreciate that.
This question, I guess, would be for anybody here, but it's sort of building on what I asked Dr. Fonts. I understand funding is an issue, but are there other things Congress can do to sort of help cut through and make this nationwide deployment possible? Are there other issues out there that we need to resolve or intervene on behalf of that you can think of? I'd open that to any of the witnesses.
I'll take it, Chairman. It's been my own experience. Governance and policy issues. When you're talking about critical infrastructure that you're placing across the country, especially when you're going through different jurisdictions, they obviously have different policies and different governance. Creating a national standard so that you can overcome those types of obstructions, making sure we're able to build out that critical infrastructure so that we can all communicate across the boards, which is why I say it's really important for this group to take a look at and provide that consistency and that platform for the build out for all the states.
Right.
I'd like to add to that, the obvious importance, of course, is planning. And so I think it's important that if funding were made available, it is important to recognize how that funding is made available. Is it something that you do on an incremental basis? A first tranche of funding for planning and early rollout, a second tranche of funding for the deployment, and of course, the final tranche for completion. So I'm asking that Congress can be creative in how they fund Next Generation 911. The governance aspect is vitally important. You want to make sure that however funds are available, that those funds work within the processes, the procedures that state 911 administrators and local governments actually have in place in order to utilize the funding that would be available for the purpose of deploying Next Generation 911.
Great. I appreciate that.